Hi Theo and Charlie, it's Grammy. I wanted to talk to you today about what I'm doing. I am painting the bedrooms upstairs so they're going to be nice and clean and fresh when you guys come to visit. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I'm doing to paint. The first thing that I've done is I moved all the furniture into the middle of the room to get it away from the walls. And I went around the room and I took off all the little plates that were around the plugs and all the little plates that were along the light switches in the room. The next thing I did after I did that was I went around and I used this stuff. This is spackle. And there were little tiny nail holes and a few little cracks and things like that. So I used this spackle to fill in those places. And this is what it looks like. It's this pink, this kind is like a pink gooey stuff. And you get it on a putty knife like this, a little bit on the end of the putty knife. And then wherever you have the hole, like let's say there's a hole right here, you take it and you just kind of push it in to that hole with the putty knife. And then once that it dries, the good thing about this pink spackle is once that it dries, it turns white so you can't even see it. I'll show you. Like right up here, let me see if I'm showing you that right there. I hope I'm showing you the right place. This was where I had to fill in spackle. There was a little hole there. And so once it's all filled in, it turns white. So you know it's all dry. Then once it's dry, I have this. This is called a sanding block. And it's rough on the edges. And you take this and you just go over the spot like this. And it smooths it out. So when you paint it, you won't see, like right here is a little bit, so I can kind of go over it. It smooths it out, so when you paint, you won't see where the hole was at. Once I've done that and all the holes are filled in and they've dried and I've sanded over them, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my vacuum cleaner. Here's my vacuum cleaner. And the good thing about this vacuum cleaner, let me show you, is the top part of it comes off, so it's like this. And it has this little brush attachment right here. And this little brush attachment fits on. And so I can cut it on, and I can use the brush, and I can vacuum all the walls, all the dust off the walls. So once I vacuum all the dust off the walls, the next thing I do is I kind of wipe them down with a damp rag just to make sure everything is clean and ready to start painting. So that's the prep work. The next thing that I did is I had this huge piece of cardboard. Let me see if you can see that huge piece of cardboard. And I'm using that big, huge piece of cardboard to put all my equipment in, and I kind of slide it around the room as I'm painting so that I won't get paint on the floor. I didn't take the time. Some people like to tape like along the baseboard and tape along the ceiling. I didn't take the time to do that because after we finish the walls, we'll paint the baseboard. So it's okay if I get a little bit, if a little bit gets on the baseboard because we're going to paint over it. But on the ceiling, the thing that I use, let me get it. Hold on just a second. On the ceiling, I use this tool. And this part is where the paint goes. And then if you look at it really closely on this side, you see it's got these little black, these are little wheels and they roll. So what I do with this is I'll put paint on this side And then I'll put it on the ceiling, right up against, right on the wall on the ceiling, and I'll roll it like this, right along the ceiling. And then that way I won't be getting paint on the ceiling, but I can get it on the wall right up to the edge of the ceiling. Let me see if I can show you how I do that. So I have my ladder here. And the first thing that I'm going to do with my roller is I'm going to take it right down here. Let me get the phone so you can see. And I'm going to let me get the roller out of the way. I'm going to put paint on the bottom. And then I'm going to I don't want it too thick, so it's going to drip down the wall. So I'll kind of wipe it off a little bit, make sure I don't have it to where it's going to drip. And then, you see how I've got the paint all on there? Whoop, there's a little bit dripping, so I need to dry it off just a little bit more. And then I'm going to take this, and I'm going to climb up on the ladder. Now, I've got it, see, like this. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put it right up against the ceiling, so those little black rollers are right up against the ceiling. And then I can push it right along the ceiling. And the paint doesn't get on the ceiling. So that makes it really easy when you're painting the ceiling part. The next thing that I do is I have a roller, this is a paint roller. Here's the paint roller right here. And you take the paint roller, I poured the paint down in this paint pan, and I get the paint roller filled with paint. And you roll it up here. First you put it down there and get the paint on it, and then you kind of go along this edge, because if you look at the pan, I don't know if you can tell from the way it's sitting, but the pan leans like this, so that as you roll the paint roller up, it helps get the excess paint off your roller. And then the next thing that you do, here's my roller, is I am going to put it on the wall. Let me get it so you can see it. And I'm going to go on these X's, and then it's going to cover the paint as I paint. So I'll go around all 4 walls, I'll go around the doors and go around the windows, and then once this is all finished, then we'll come back and paint the baseboard. And the baseboard is this part right here that's down at the bottom of the wall. And we'll paint like the door, and we'll paint this, the edging that goes around the doors. And then once we've done all that, then we'll be able to move the furniture back in place, and everything will be ready, all painted and clean. So I look forward to seeing you, and we'll talk with you later. Love you. Bye-bye.